now. Here we go now.
Touchdown, Cooper. That was DeMarcus Lawrence.
They can't stop us. Keep hitting him in the mouth. Keep hitting him in the mouth. They can't stop us.
Keeps his feet to the 10. Touchdown, Elliott. Gallup leaping. Touchdown.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
The Dallas Cowboys led by 10 entering the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough to hold off 15 unanswered points in the final frame from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who now improved to 8-0 and dropped the Cowboys to 2-7 at AT&T Stadium. The fourth straight loss for the Cowboys here in 2020. Welcome in to Cowboys Game Night as we'll dissect this one from beginning to end. Kyle Youmans and the six-time Pro Bowler, Mr. Nate Newton, joining you here from DallasCowboys.com. And Nate, when you look at this overall, it's disappointing for the Cowboys specifically because you were oh so close to knocking off the undefeated Steelers, but you just didn't have enough in the end.
Nah, they got the better team right now. They're playing great, but, you know, Garrett, Gilbert came out, played well, spread the ball around nicely. Offensive line played well. I mean, you had two all-pro defensive ends, outside linebackers coming off the rock, 6 sacks, 6.5 sacks. I mean, that's a lot to ask for. Then you have the defense, man. Neville Gallimore, man, he played tremendous, especially early in the game on some third and shorts, some fourth and shorts. They took advantage of it. D-Law was himself. He brought some things to the party. Secondary played well. Linebackers played okay. They played with a lot of enthusiasm. They lined up well. I like that. They had some things that went wrong, and we'll discuss that later. But this team played as a whole, played better than we've seen them all year besides the first game against the Rams.
And because of the history between these two franchises, there's always going to be a bit of emotion between the two, no matter the records. And we'll hear from Mike McCarthy out at AT&T Stadium and what he had to say following the emotional loss.
Mike, how do you assess Gilbert's performance today as far as being able to run what you wanted to offensively and keeping you in this game and giving you a chance to win it?
I thought Garrett kept us in good place. I mean, there's a lot that was going on with at the line of scrimmage. So I mean, he was prepared. You can see it during the course of the week. He was getting more and more comfortable as he had the opportunity to exercise the game plan. So I thought he definitely brought it from the practice field to the game today. So I mean, really, the only negative in the performance was the two turnovers.
On the interception, Mike, is that a matter of just when you're in the tight red zone, the ball has to come out, no matter how quick you think you're looking at things?
I think that's a general opinion. That would point more towards the play design. What's the defense playing, to be more specific. But, yeah, I mean, I think we all understand it. The red zone, is there's less space. Things happen quicker down there. There's a different type of pass rush. It looked like we had pressure inside that if I remember correctly, I think he was getting ready to throw the football away. So, obviously took points off the board there for us.
And you look at Garrett Gilbert, his first career NFL start, definitely held his own and had some confidence in there as well. We hear from him when we come back after the break here on Cowboys Game Night when we return.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly.
With Andy Dalton on the COVID-19 list, Garrett Gilbert had his first opportunity for an NFL start. Let's go out to AT&T Stadium and hear from the starting quarterback.
How did you feel offensively about your ability to execute the offense today and keep this team in a position to win it at the end?
I thought we did a nice job all day. They presented some stuff up front that was a little different than some stuff we had seen. They did a really nice job changing looks up, and I was really proud of our guys, especially up front, the way they communicated and got us out of some bad plays and into some better plays. And I thought we did a nice job preventing a lot of negative plays tonight, and that's a testament to the guys up front doing a really good job communicating and staying with me at the line of scrimmage.
Garrett, what was it like to go on the field there for that last drive? And when was the last time you were in a situation like that with a chance to win the game?
Obviously, it's been a while. You know, but that's what you live for as a quarterback. That's what you live for as a football player. And unfortunately, those last two drives, I just couldn't make enough plays for us to finish that one off. But that's the type of thing that you dream about, and that's the type of situation that you live for as a quarterback.
Garrett, I was watching you after that final throw as the game ended, and you kind of just stood there. You had your hands on your hips, took off your helmet, and kind of just watching it all, processing it in front of you. What was going on in your mind as that game ended?
I mean, losing sucks, you know. I felt like our guys played really hard today and played really well, and we deserved a chance to win that game. And, you know, obviously we gave ourselves that chance, but it's just tough when when all of us together put everything into that thing and then come up short.
Gilbert, as the fourth quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys here in 2020, had just 6 career passing attempts entering this week. But what did you think about what he brought to the table?
His awareness. I mean, he was calm. He didn't panic. I mean, he was under pressure. A couple of times you saw him spent out, and he ran the ball. He ran the offense. He moved around just enough. I think our offensive line in the middle did a great job with Looney, Connor Williams, and Zach Martin. I think he did a masterful job there, man, for the limited time he's had in the offense.
You mentioned the offensive line and some of those guys up front. He still faced a good pass rush with Pittsburgh and a team that brings it every single snap. How was his adjustment process today?
It was good, man. I mean, as you see right there, man, he didn't lock in on his receivers. I mean, he just came back. He knew where his ball was supposed to go, and he eliminated what was not supposed to be there, and he got the ball out. And then when he couldn't, he moved around inside the pocket just enough to help these guys get open. And when he saw everything else was failing, he got out of there. I don't think it got to him twice. He did a nice job today.
Now, Andy Dalton should be back following the bye week. Is there a bit of quarterback controversy here on who you should go with?
Oh, nah, man. You go with momentum. You go with momentum. This young guy got momentum. Andy Dalton's had a whole game or half a game, and he's did what he's did. This dude had a whole game, and he did what he's doing. And that's give the Cowboys a chance to win, and that's what it's all about.
He certainly did end up passing that eye test, 21 of 38 with 243 yards, his first career touchdown. He also had his first career pick as well. When we come back, we switch to the defensive side of the football and hear from DeMarcus Lawrence out at AT&T Stadium following the 24-19 loss.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly. This segment is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Cowboys defense did not get to Ben Roethlisberger for a sack in the 24-19 loss, but they did hold the Steelers to just 46 yards rushing. Big part of that, DeMarcus Lawrence, and here's what he had to say after the game.
Hey, DeMarcus, how you doing?
What's up?
DeMarcus, not a win, of course, but when you guys go toe-to-toe with the only undefeated team in the NFL, do you feel like this is an indication that you guys are moving in the right direction with the new coaching staff? Things are pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a job by our guys tonight. Fighting for 4 quarters straight. Hell of a job by our coaching staff, believing in us, staying with us, and putting us in the right positions to make plays. And I mean, it's a tough loss, but I do feel like we raised the bar and we are getting better.
DeMarcus, how surprised are you when you look at this season where you are in the standings up in last place?
It's very surprising, but, if you look at all these games, it's coming down to the wire or, it's small mistakes that we need to clean up at the end of the game. So I don't feel like nobody in this league is elite. You look at the schedule or their record, and their record might say different, but clearly, by looking at the game tonight, ain't nobody elite, and everybody has a chance to win, and we just got to do a better job in the fourth quarter holding it together.
DeMarcus, did it feel like something clicked tonight, or what was the big difference that, lets you guys be able to hold the Pittsburgh Steelers in check for so long?
Just playing fundamental football, playing all as one, being able to, come out with that confidence, especially after, last game. You just keep building on top of each other and understand, like I said earlier, that it ain't nobody elite, and we have a chance every week to come out with the victory, and we just didn't do it tonight.
The Cowboys certainly did improve again week to week like they did against Philadelphia. They improved against Pittsburgh. What else did you like from the defense?
Man, just the consistency of playing hard. I believe if you go out and you line up like they did tonight, know your assignment, perform within that right there, you're going to have a chance to win, because I agree, there's no elite teams out there at this point, but it's teams that are playing well together. And this is what this defense is starting to do, is play well together. You just got to eliminate some of those mistakes, some of those bad penalties that can set you back and put your offense in a bad position.
This really was the first game that I think the Cowboys played complementary football. All three phases really showed out today, and it didn't end up in a win because of some of those late key moments. Yeah,
like the roughing the passer, Jalen, that was a bad move. The punch by Leighton Van Der Esch, that wasn't good. And then you get a pass interference again with Jalen. So our guys that we look for, our core guys that are leaders, we look for them to clean up a few things. But like I said, it was a lot of positive with Gallimore, with D-Lock having his second game in a row nice. Like our secondary did more than their part to make sure they hold up their end. So they're playing hard, and you just got to play a little smarter.
Really the first time this year you can start naming guys off. You got Neville Gallimore with a good game, Randy Gregory, and Brown. All of these guys really played complimentary football, and it's something that I think the Cowboys can definitely build on moving forward. When we come back on Cowboys Game Night, we hear from Jalen Smith right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Couple key mistakes late in the game of a 24-19 loss to the Steelers. Couple of those also with Jalen Smith. Here's his explanation following the game.
Jalen, how tough of a loss was this one, knowing that you guys pretty much dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout the course of the game and then just came up short at the end?
Tough loss. Things going our way. For us, it's about battling. It's about finding a way. So we're on the right track, and we just got to keep digging, like Tank just said. We just got to keep digging.
Jalen, did they give you any kind of explanation on the flag they threw on the strip sack? Did they give you any kind of explanation of what you did wrong there or what they thought they saw?
No, they thought that I hit him, and I was just crazy over the top holding. Really, he just ran into me, and that's really what it was. Few questionable calls in the game, but for us, we got to control what we can control.
I mean, you're fighting to get through the blockers there, so how surprised were you to get that call, because you're just trying to get through, mess there in front of the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, just questionable calls. I really didn't do anything. I was just trying to pressure the quarterback and press the pocket, put my hands up when the ball was coming out, and that's what it was. questionable calls, like you said, but we just got to keep fighting. Got to keep fighting.
Couple questionable calls turning into a couple key moments in that one. What did you think about Jalen's comments?
Well, the first one, you was up by one. Now you was up by one, then you're down by one. The next one led to a touchdown. So what you have to do, Jalen, is you have to check yourself and understand that those questionable calls, these refs make these questionable calls seem like it always happened to you, my friend. So straighten yourself, handle yourself, look at the film, and understand that you have to fix some of those questionable calls.
And you mentioned now with the defense and the positives to build off of it, where do you go from here heading into a bye week and finding a rhythm to continue improving on that side?
Oh, man, it's easy, man. These guys are well on their way. They've had 2 games, one against a not-so-good Philly team and one against, I think, a great Pittsburgh team that plays well together and has a nice complementary of players. So all they got to do is just clean up those bad spots, fix their individual mistakes, and they will be all right.
They kind of got burned a little bit later on by the passing game, 309 total yards in the air, but they still held a Pittsburgh team that can run the ball really well to under 50 yards overall. So whenever you look at this team moving forward, we've talked about all 3 levels. Is the special teams the most improved, or is it the defense?
I think the defense, along with the special teams. When you have a special teams that did what they did today, just added a little extra spice, that's what you need. They covered well, they kicked well, they did everything they needed to do. And so now all you got to do is keep having the defense play well, get you one quarterback that I think is Gilbert, and with all these great receivers, the running back duo that we have, offensive line is holding steady, you can go forward. And you know what? The East, all you got to do is run out 4 games and you win the East.
When you also talk about not only the NFC East, but the fact that a lot of young guys are getting some very valuable reps at this point. We've already mentioned Neville Gallimore. Haven't even talked about CeeDee Lamb. He had a couple of plays, including a touchdown, and you even throw Trayvon Diggs in there. Hopefully he's okay after getting banged up in the second half. When we come back, we'll wrap things up following the 24-19 loss here on Cowboys Game Night.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, Reliant, an NRG company, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
A look at some of the final stats from the 24-19 loss as the Cowboys fall in their 4th straight game now to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who improved to 8-0. The Cowboys now at 2-7, heading into the Week 10 bye week. And the Cowboys holding the Steelers under 46 yards of rushing. You also, not to mention, had an opportunity to win the game, leading by 10 heading into the 4th quarter, but not enough to hold off the late charge from the Steelers overall. But Nate, whenever you look at these numbers, you look at the last 2 weeks, and there's so many things that you can build upon whenever it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. What has you the most excited heading into a bye week and then with a matchup with Minnesota on the other side?
Man, just the idea that these guys are young. They have an opportunity to do things. Like I say, they're lining up in the right place now. They're performing on defense a lot better. We've found some consistency for the first time in 3 weeks on our offense with the young kid, Gilbert. So I just want to see these guys continue to develop. The center, I can't pronounce.
Tyler Biadasz.
Tyler Biadasz was a late game scratch through. He would have been in there. I think our offensive line did a great job. Once again, Coach Philman, keep putting it together, keep pacing it together. We found a mix with Tony Pollard and Zeke. And so now we're starting to build something. And if we can continue to do that, we got Minnesota coming up, and they got a guy named Delvin Cook where they're going to take all our defense to do everything they can, and maybe we need to throw the defensive coordinator in there too to make sure we tackle this guy.
Yeah, I think you look at it overall, it's an opportunity to get healthy and elaborate on what you've done well over the last couple weeks. You can talk about running the ball, you can talk about defensively. There's a ton of things the Cowboys can work on heading into the bye week. That's going to do it for Cowboys Game Night. For Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. We'll see you after the bye week, everybody.